What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Last Movie Standing. Today we're going to be talking about a very girly movie from 1995. Clueless. Happy 30th anniversary. Clueless has always been one of my favorite 90s teen movies. In a time really known for teen horror movies, I feel like Clueless stands alone in the 90s because the teen I won't want to call this raunchy comedy, but the teen comedy thing didn't really, I think, elevate until, I mean, it did in the 80s, and then there was a break, and then, I feel like it was the 80s and the early 2000s, like 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003 to 2006 or something. I felt were huge, like, more teen comedies. Where late 90s was more like, or the second half of the 90s felt a lot more like teen horror. So Clueless kind of stands apart on its own there. And when this got announced for 4K, jumped on it, and especially with this cool ass box set with the steelbook. I always wanted this steelbook. I did. So I was stoked when they did this. This is just a repurposed steelbook, I believe, from the Blu-ray. It's not even labeled on the side what it is, Blu-ray or 4K. So they probably just used the same one. If you have this old one, you look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's the same that I have. This is just like Small Soldiers. This is Paramount. So this Blu-ray is the old Blu-ray. It's not the new Blu-ray. So we got the 4K and the old Blu-ray. So I can actually show you what it looks like because I don't have the old Blu-ray. I've got the DVD. Love this artwork. And the VHS. I really like this original poster artwork, by the way. But before we get into an unboxing, because we're going to get into an unboxing of this, Emma, I think one thing that stands out about Emma, and this became a really popular trend later on too, was adaptations of older novels into more teen movies. Clueless is an adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma. One of my favorite Jane Austen movies and stories ever. I feel like this version of Emma is the best version of Emma. It's my absolute favorite version. I even love the TV version with Kate Beckinsale. This was like a BBC. I think, no, A&E. A&E, BBC, what's the difference? I don't really like the Gwyneth Paltrow one. I think this and the Gwyneth Paltrow one came out the same year. So when you're looking for, when did this come out? 96. These actually came out after Clueless, which is kind of crazy. But I love Emma so much. I got the books. I got two versions of the book. I got this beautiful pink one. This one I actually found at like an Orlando airport and everything. And I just really like the feel of this. It's like this, like, I don't even know the material. But it's really nice. But I don't travel with this when I read it because it's a giant pink book. And yeah, I'm good. But I got this older one from Amazon, which is the one I actually read. Especially when I travel. I bring this with me when I travel. I just love the story of Emma. So, Clueless, I love, like, knowing that, like, the original story and how they did it in Clueless. I just love that kind of shit. And it's, that became way popular, too, later. Like, taking Shakespeare and changing it to more teen movies, like 10 Things I Hate About You was Taming of the Shrew. I think I did a whole video on this like a year ago or something. She's the Man is that 12th Night? I think Anyone But You, the new Sydney Sweeney movie from like last year, that might be 12th Night too, or that was some William Shakespeare play. You Got Much to Do About Nothing. Not Much to Do About Nothing. No. Shit, that's what it is. Anyone But You is Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Whatever It Takes is Midsummer Night's Dream. So they did this whole like teen thing where they were at it doing this whole teen Shakespeare adaptation and everything. And Clueless is definitely in there. But when it comes to the packaging, all that story stuff aside, when it comes to the actual packaging, this may be some of the most creative I've seen this year, because usually with most of these we get the same things. We get kind of this chunky box, which this is paper. This isn't like an Arrow chunky box. It's not like cardstock. It's paper, you know, but it's still nice to have. It protects the steelbook. But instead of just like a poster and art cards, it does come with those, but it comes with a bunch of other cool stuff. I like how they have these little like envelope things where you can just keep everything in, and the best part is the J card fits perfectly in there. Not the J, yeah, this it's not a J card, but yeah, it is. Actually, it is. Shit, I forgot. Yep. So the J card, you just fold it and you can just put it perfectly in here. So that's nice. I like when things fit right. But one of my favorite things about this is the Polaroids. I think the Polaroids are just a cool touch to it, and the paper they use just like glossy paper, so it actually feels like Polaroids. The back is just plain. I almost wish they would have just had like a plain back or black to really give it that Polaroid feel to it. But I really, really like these. I don't even know what this is. This is some kind of decal or something. It's a sticker, but it's like a thick ass like embossed like decal sticker. You got language art, so it's like whatever they're saying, like the lingo of that era. You got like these little cards. I actually have not opened this yet. Sticker pack. I'm usually not a fan of sticker packs. What else came with the sticker pack? Arrow does that sometimes. Like they did it with Deep Blue Sea, or no, they did it with Demolition Man. And I'm like, why do I want this sticker, this ugly ass sticker, these 3 seashells? This is one of my favorite ones. So we do get a postcard, right? But on the back is the report card, Cher's report card. Little touches like that. I think whoever made this package really likes the movie. You can tell whenever a package gets like the premium touch to it, because somebody behind it actually gave a shit about the movie. And then last, we got a little poster. It's kind of a small poster, but my favorite thing about this is the original poster. At the bottom, it says opens July 19th. So that's really cool. I love that little touch that they did the old original poster. It does say 2025 really down here, postmark, but it's got the date, the original date the movie came out, which I think is awesome. All right, so now that we've unboxed this and you've seen everything in it, how does the actual transfer look? Let's see. So unlike Small Soldiers, I think the difference here isn't as huge when it comes to the transfer, but I personally think it's a improvement. I love the colors. I love how bright it is. I love how certain things pop more in the 4K. This is Dolby Vision too, by the way. But I don't think the difference is as dramatic when you look at them side by side. Some, yes. Like anytime the dad is on screen, like when you see his blue sweater or anything, you're like, wow, that shit pops, you know? I just think it just looks like somebody just cleaned the glasses. It's not like a dirty car that went to the car wash. It's just like, oh, I got a speck on my glasses. Clean it off, put it back on. It just looks cleaner. I think skin tones and colors just look a little bit better. I love the party scene at the end. Like Cher's out by the pool. She gets a phone call from her dad, and you can see a little bit more of the blue pool light shimmering around. I think that's really cool. It just looks a little brighter. That's really the only difference, but I don't think it's like a massive night and day thing with this one. I really think if your TV is calibrated a certain way, you won't tell a difference, to be honest. Now these are like I do with all my 4K reviews. These are just ripped off the disc. When you put it into your OLED, it's gonna do its thing and make it pop a little bit more than like what you're seeing now. Obviously, it's gonna process it a little differently. And it does that with Blu-rays too. So it's going to upscale your Blu-ray depending on your player. And, you know, I think all you really got to do to match this, bro, up your saturation. If you have the Blu-ray, just up your saturation. Just like maybe 5%, if that. Up your saturation 5%. And maybe, I don't want to say turn the brightness up a little bit. But I feel like the difference is enough to where you can adjust your TV settings to get it to match. But sometimes that's like just too much work. You just want to put it in and watch it. And I think it's a great transfer. I know there's a lot of things of why do we need comedies on 4K? I think that's a stupid argument. I don't think there's any difference between a comedy or horror or anything when it comes to how it's shot. It's 35 millimeter film. It will look amazing on 4K. You know, it's also preference. Do you like the movie? If you don't like the movie, then the transfer doesn't matter at all. But I think this one really shines. I think they did it right for this. I think overall, I think they did this right. I think the transfer is really good. I think the packaging with this is top notch. That they didn't have to. So they did like that version and they did the slipcover version. I like the slipcover version too. But I do wish they did a cover with this. You know, I think this is just iconic. But, you know, in this, you do get the original poster, which I like. But, yeah, transfer-wise, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks more natural. Brighter. But I don't think it's anything like night and day to where if you have your Blu-ray, like if you want it to look a little bit more like the 4K, just adjust your settings on your TV and you'll get there. Because sometimes you can't tell a difference. Sometimes you can really tell a difference, and then sometimes you can't. But I really like this edition. It's one of my favorites of the year. I'm stoked. Anything 90s, anything comedies, you know, especially like rom-coms, like give it to me. I'm all for it, especially this story. Like I have all these editions. I haven't watched Clueless in a minute, to be honest. It's been a few years since I watched it, so I loved like revisiting this. I think I watched it like 2 or 3 times in a row that day. I forgot how dope the soundtrack was and everything. And then once you go on Alicia Silverstone run, it's like you just go down the rabbit hole of Alicia Silverstone movies. You know, I think I rewatched Batman and Robin right after this. I rewatched The Crush. I think I rewatched The Babysitter too. No, it was Hideaway, because I have Hideaway coming up on another video. But I was that age, man. Was it 95? How old was I? I was like 8. You know, discovering girls and everything. So I had a huge crush on Alicia Silverstone growing up. I never really found Brittany Murphy that attractive, but I love the rags to riches in this thing, especially with her character. The funniest thing, before we end this video, I can't say it. I tried to memorize this line before the video. I just couldn't do it. But I wish we could bring back slang like the 90s. It just, I know it's not PC in today's age, you know, they didn't use the F word, you know, thankfully, but though the way, what's his name, described gay people cracks me up in this movie.
Your man Christian is a cake boy.
A what?
He's a disco dancing, Oscar Wilde reading, Streisand ticket holding friend of Dorothy, know what I'm saying?
No way.
He's gay.
Not even.
Yes, even.
Like, that line is so ridiculous. Like, I was trying to memorize it, and I was like, oh my god. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too much. It's too much. But I love that 90s slang like that. I think that's really clever and fun, and I don't think anybody can get offended by that. Like if you're a gay dude and somebody called you that, you'd probably be like, "Damn, how'd you get that all out of your mouth?" Damn, that took a much deeper, darker turn than I thought, actually. More perverted turn. Anyway, are you guys picking up the 4K Clueless? Are you happy with your Blu-ray? Let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on, especially this one, if you've seen it, like what you think about it. Like I said, it is Dolby Vision, it is Dolby Atmos. I don't have a sound system. I know I get a lot of sound questions. I can't really, I'm not the channel for sound. But when it comes to visuals, I got you.